Welcome to Crafty Liz CreeAtions. Today we'll be doing a Pride Month wreath or a rainbow flower, or it could be primary colors for school. And I do have my small board all loaded up. This is the sign we are doing. It says, "Be careful who you hate." It could be someone you love. I love that sign. That's our 8-inch sign. Unique and Creek small board I am using. I have all the zip ties loaded up. As you can see, I have row 1, all the holes are covered with zip ties, and row 2 and 3. So we'll be needing 32 petals on row 1, 24 on row 2, and 16 on row 3. Okay, so 72 of the zip ties. I show you a couple of the folds. We'll be using the Wreath petal. So we'll put that aside and we'll grab red and orange first, because I'll be doing red and orange for the second row. So the Wreath petal, what you do to make the Wreath petal is you put your I always, when I do the Wreath petal, the half Wreath petal, I always would burn my poly burlap. I'm going to put this curve side up again. So I'm going to put this into a diamond just like that, and I'm just going to put this tip over that way. And here's where the clips come in. So I'm going to clip over here and over here. So 1 square makes 2 petals. Keep that in mind. 1 square, 2 petals. So I'll let you know how many. I think I need 8 pieces of the red. Okay, 8 pieces, 8 squares of the red to get 16 Wreath petals. So I'm gonna pinch from here to here. What I've been doing is I'm just doing that and this and over here, and I don't know. It's just me being OCD. And I'm just gonna clip that. You see where these are meeting up over here? That's where I put my clip. Right in the middle, right there. Okay, see that? So that's where I put my clip. And now that there, you'll need your zip ties. To get that almost perfect petal for this is I've been lining up the pin out of line, just like right there. And I go 1 inch up to the side, and there's where I add a zip tie. You can use rubber bands for this. So I'm gonna line this up out here, and I go 1 inch over, and I pinch there and add a zip tie. Cool. Okay. Again, this is the half Wreath petal, and you can take your clips off and cut this and this. And now here's where you see where your folds are meeting up over here. That's where I cut it right in half, like that. So you have 2 petals in 1. So I've been turning. When I go and add my petals, they're gonna be this way, right? And you notice my nub, 1 is up and 1 is down over here. I've been turning this towards the good side, which is the manufactured side. So again, good stopper when you put it into the board. Okay, let's do another one. And corner to corner with burned horizontal white stripe, or in the orange. So 8 pieces of orange. 8 pieces, 8 squares of orange is what you need. Make sure these are pointy, as pointy as you can get them. Okay, just like that. And scrunch from here to here, but I've been doing this. So these will lay down a little bit, because when I scrunch like this, you notice how this is lifting up. I don't want that. What I've been doing here is I've been pinching here and here, and this way, this will lay down now, this part. And if I just go ahead and pinch it, it's not laying down. It doesn't sew in the when you add it, but you know, it's just me being extra. So we'll clip it in the middle again, and we'll add zip ties. So an inch over is where I've been adding. You can do half an inch, it don't matter, as long as your petals are all the same when you measure them, and they'll look right when you add them into the board. So measuring now, and less worrying when you add your and then we'll take those off. So 8 squares of the red and 8 squares of the orange. And I'll let you know on the other colors when we get to the second one. Okay. And so this is the bad side. This is the cut side. So I'm putting my zip tie up so they'll lay nicely like that. Okay. Let's grab our board and start putting the petals into the board. First, the red. So what we just made here is altogether 16 of the red, 16 half Rita petals of the red. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start adding them onto the original or the small apart holes, every other. Like that. And I make sure my zip tie is facing, my knob of the zip tie is facing up every time. So if I don't, and I add the petal in there with the zip tie inside of, oh, wrong one. Mistake, rewind, clip off. Okay, sorry, talking away there. All right, so let's just add the first one into the smaller gap holes. Okay, just like that. And I'll add a zip tie in there quickly. So every other is what I'm going to be adding into the zip tie. Okay. Alrighty, just slip them in there and zip it up now for the last red. Okay, we'll clip those off the zip tie tails. This color will be orange. So on the larger gap right here, the zip ties that we skipped is where I'm adding the orange. Start anywhere. There we go. Now we've added all the orange in there. Gonna cutting off these zip tie tails. Grab our board and start adding those petals in there. First, the yellow. First the yellow. Again, I'm going every other on this row. I'm just going every other. Okay, so every other. So start anywhere. Grab another one and skip a zip tie and add this into this. Making sure my zip tie is inside that zip tie when I close it off. We'll add the green on the skipped ones. lots of petals for this one, but it looks pretty in the end. The third row, we're putting the blue into these original holes, okay? So 8 of the blue, and so you'll need 4 squared pieces of the blue to get those 8 half Rita petals. So last blue. Last blue. All right, there we go. So I'm going to cut those tails off. Moving on, here's an extra blue again. Better make an extra flower. Maybe I'll have enough to make another one here, but make sure the front is this way. The hanging hole is over here. And we'll grab my hole maker. Make a couple of holes, top and bottom. Just like that. And I'll show you, I'll turn it around here to show you where I'm adding the sign. There we go. And the other side. There's 2 zip ties in there, that's why it's a little hard to get the sign, you know, in there. get the pipe cleaners into the holes, I mean. So there's where I added it, right there. And now I can just clip that off and that. And making a mess on my table. Stick those back in the holes. And that one. And we'll add a zip tie hanger up here. Got it. Took a while, but got it. And there it is. So be careful who you hate. It could be someone you love. It says, I love it. So the small board, Unique and Creek small board. I got the zip ties in there already. We're only using row 3. Row 3 is what we're using. And for this one, I think we'll decide on a flower center. This one, we can't be using that one, it's too small. This one or this one. Because I don't have another sign. So let's make another. This time we're using the Liz petals. The Liz petal. Alright, so let's make the 3-loop Liz petal. I'm using the large zip ties for this because it's so thick here. I can't use that 4-inch, it's too small. And you'll need clips, scissors, and needle nose, and also your nippers or zip tie gun. Okay, let's just grab one of these and let's make the Liz petal. So the blue one, put it curved side up, wood burned. I would burn this, but the edges will be hidden for this, so it don't matter if you would burn it for this wreath. So just under, slightly under, not over, because it'll look really odd. And then fold it over again, just under there. Clip it and clip it. Okay, we'll grab the green one now. You get a 2-for-1 day today. Because I saw this cool looking wreath on Unique Wreath Creators, and I was like, that's what inspired me to make it this way. And plus I had lots of leftover poly burlap and mesh. So the purple goes on top, then the blue. Okay, just like that. That's my 3-loop Liz petal. And what I've been doing here is I've been making sure my zip tie is at the 6-inch mark at the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right here is 6 inches. So that's where I'll add my zip tie. Zip it up. And go ahead and cut this part here. So another one, another Liz petal. Oh, I'll do the orange. Again, the horizontal white stripe, which is this orange, is wider when you make this petal. But it's all right. It looks okay. Right, the red, the orange, and yellow. So what I've been doing, since this is a little wider, right, the orange, what I've been doing is I'm just lifting the yellow and the red up so they'll line up nicely with the orange up here through here and all that. So it seems to work, as you can see. Okay, 6 inches down is where I'm adding my zip tie, which is right here. And zip it. You could do 5.5 or 5 inches down here if you want. I'm trying to make these look taller because we need to cover the board. Grab our board and our petals. We'll start adding them in there. I didn't even cut these. So I made 8 each of the Liz petals in these colors here. So I need to cut off the excess. What I think I'm gonna do for this part is I'll make sure my top, find my top, okay? Find my top, which is up here. And I'll put the red, orange, and yellow, 8 of them on the top, and the purple, blue, and green at the bottom. Okay? I'll show you what I mean. So first, I'll add this up here. So this is the top. That's the top. So I'm hoping when I, this is my first time doing this one wreath this way, but I'm hoping when these are together, it'll cover the board, but I think it will. I've made this kind before, but only on a large board, but I think it's gonna do what I think I want it to do. Oops. Okay. That's 5. Six. Continue. So there's your 8. So we'll do the bottom ones now. It'd be nice to have a sign or another sign just like that one there or something like that, but I don't have one. So Flower Center it is. I just have lots of leftover open rolls of poly burlap that I need to use up. That's why I'm using this. I'm using them. And I don't have poly burlap in the orange, so horizontal white stripe works just as well. So there's a lot of different ways that you could do this as well. You could go, you can alternate this and this. I almost did that. But again, I saw this post. Why does this seem, oh no. I saw this post with these colors like this. And it's like, I gotta try that using the Liz petal. I think this flower center is too small though. It won't cover the zip ties. Oh, I like it. You can see a little bit of the board, just a tiny bit, but you have to get close there and look at it to see it in some areas. But you can go in there and do that as well, so you won't see it. Oh, I like that. I like that. It's pretty. So if I add this, I think this is too small. See, it's too small. So I'm gonna have to use this. But I already have one in there, so it's convenient. Okay, so let's just use this. The other one is too small. So those two holes right there are for pipe cleaners to go through, so you'll add your center. See? Perfect. All right. That was fun, fast and easy, wasn't it? I'm not going in the middle. I'm not using the regular hanging holes. I'm going a little bit off to the side, just so they'll look even now when you hang it. Okay, so there it is. Do this. So there's your two that we made. Okay. So those are my version of Pride Month wreaths, flower wreaths, or rainbow wreaths, or